welcome to the new BMW X1 xDrive 20D Sport. And for those of you who don't speak BMW, that translates into the all-new X1 with all-wheel drive and a 2-litre diesel engine with 188 brake horsepower. To be perfectly honest with you, I was not a big fan of the previous BMW X1. I felt it was always a bit of a misfit in the BMW range because BMW have a really good knack at no matter what you're driving, it is a fantastic handling car, it's involving, it's engaging. And I just felt the X1 jumped on the bandwagon of the compact SUV and BMW didn't really engineer it to be a great handling car like the rest of the range. I mean, even look at things like the BMW X5, a big SUV is still fantastic fun to throw around the corners. I felt that the old X1 didn't do that. So I really want this new X1 to impress me. Kicking things off aesthetically, it ticks that box. It looks really smart, particularly in the sport trim level, so it gets a few other trinkets like these snazzy alloy wheels and the dual exhaust. In black, this car looks great. It has a slight sinister note to it because some of the chrome trim's blacked out as well. But I mean, just its stance, proportionally, the really clean lines. It's not fussy. I really like it. I think it's a handsome little car. The design revolution continues inside as well, as gone are the scratchy plastics and awkward shapes of the previous car. Now they are replaced with nice, smooth, gloss plastics. I mean, look at this anodized red trim that runs across the dashboard that also matches the red stitching in these rather supportive, sporty seats. You always get a good sporty seat with BMW. This is the case here as well, with good bolstering. They're pretty comfortable too. Heading up the centre console is the widescreen display of BMW's iDrive infotainment system. It's a really good system and it has evolved over the years. It was a bit of a model to begin with, menu inside menu sort of affair, but now the system has gone through so many generations, it's been honed so well. It's really visual. I love this widescreen display because it gives you a very good peripheral vision of what's around you whenever you're navigating areas you're not used to. And it's got all sorts of points of interest and things that we're used to, but the whole connected drive element of the car means that it can go and get phone numbers for restaurants and things like that. It's really handy and a pretty clever set of features that are housed within that. A few nice options that this specific X1 has is the rear reversing camera. That's always a nice one to have, makes parking a little bit easier. That said, rear visibility isn't too bad in this car. Something I really like, and I'd strongly suggest this, is the full colour heads-up display which is projected onto the windscreen. It displays speed limits, your current speed, and also directions. It just means you never have to take your eyes off of the road, and it's just so much more reassuring than continuously glancing across at the satellite navigation. And of course, this being a compact SUV, you get that nice high-riding seating position. The rear bench seats 3 with plenty of head and leg room for the outermost seats. The central seat is still a little bit narrow for adults, but BMW have done a pretty good job at reducing down that hump in the floor for the transmission tunnel to boost leg room for that central passenger. A nice touch of those rear seats is that they can slide forwards and backwards as well as recline, boosting comfort for those people who are stuck back there for long journeys. Open the boot and you will find a plentiful 505 litres of space, and better than that, it's a nice usable size. There's no lips jutting out preventing you from putting big bulky objects in. And those seats will also fold completely flat, so if you do need to move a fridge somewhere, you can. Nice little touch to the boot also is that the floor is false, meaning you can store valuables under the boot floor away from the prying eyes of miscreants. How does the new BMW X1 drive? Well, that is the biggest quantum leap over its predecessor out of anything I've mentioned so far. It finally has those great dynamics that we look for in a BMW. It handles really well. The steering is very well weighted, it's very precise, you can place the car exactly where you want in the road. Pedal weights are also really good, you can modulate the brakes really nicely and very accurately. Through sweeping bends, despite this being quite a tall car, body roll is kept at bay. The car feels like it wants to be driven enthusiastically, and that's what BMW should be about. No matter what shape or size it takes, BMW should be about the driving experience, and the X1 finally has that. I'm a happy boy sat here because, you know, the car feels like it wants to be taken on some challenging roads. The xDrive all-wheel drive system on this car is really good as well. You can sort of feel it shuffle round power as and when it's needed. It gives you that nice reassurance amongst some of the terrible weather that we've had over the past few weeks here in the UK. And it just gives you that security that the car has plenty of grip, plenty of capability, and also with 400 Newton meters of torque, it means you can put your foot down, and that very responsive, very strong 2-litre diesel engine, it just absolutely takes off. Gear changes come courtesy of an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and the shifts are brilliant. I always crow on about BMW's auto gearboxes. They are simply some of the best, and I'll demonstrate that now. If I click this paddle, there we go, down a gear, up a gear, no jolting, no real feeling of cogs being swapped, just the performance and the correct gear that you're asking for. This car, like many BMWs, has various modes. So if we go down into Eco Pro here, it will try and reduce the amount of fuel consumption, so the throttle isn't quite as responsive as what it is in normal. So if we click it up here into comfort, so we've got lighter steering and a little bit less throttle response than if we were to turn it all the way up into sport. Sport is where the car really comes alive. The engine's at its most eager, the steering weight is pretty much how I'd want it. Yeah, it just gives you a nice broad set of abilities for this car. So, you know, school run, you want it on comfort, you want nice light steering whilst you're parking the car, but then equally, once you're done dropping the kids off and you're on your way to work and you've got some interesting roads, stick it in sport, and you know, it's just good fun to drive. It's got to be one of the best handling in its class. With a 0 to 62 mile an hour time of 7.6 seconds, it's not sluggish either. What about efficiency? Well, BMW say if you're on your best behaviour, you should be able to get 57.6 mpg out of this car on the combined cycle. You can have this BMW X1 from just over £33,500, but just like any premium German car, do be careful of the options list because the costs can start to mount up. All in all, the BMW X1 has done exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to improve in every direction because I wasn't that impressed with its predecessor. And now I have to say I can thoroughly recommend this car. It's a great all-rounder, it's practical, it feels like a real quality product, it drives so much better than the previous car. The only real downside is that you get a slightly firmer ride than some competitors, but that's the trade for not having very much body roll through the corners. I think that's totally worth it. It's not uncomfortable in the slightest. And I have to say, hats off BMW. I am impressed with this X1.
Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe for more on the latest and greatest cars to hit the road. For all of the latest automotive news, written reviews and coverage from motor shows, go to www.insidelane.co.uk.